Hello friends, my name is Behroz and welcome to the channel where we talk about tips and tricks that I read, learn and apply in order to become a better version of myself. Now in this video, I will share with you tips that will create more time for you in your day. Now these tips are not typical productivity tips about how to do whatever you do more effectively. Rather, these tips will help you really create and generate more number of hours or minutes in your day that you can effectively use for other valuable tasks. Now the first technique is the to-go box method. This is a fairly common dieting and weight loss hack, which goes something like this, that whenever you order a meal at a restaurant, you request half of that meal to be put into a to-go box and only the other half gets served to you. This is essentially a stricter version of portion control. We can apply the same technique to time wasters and hence create more time in the day. For instance, if 2 hours of watching Netflix is equivalent to a full meal at the restaurant, then cutting it into half will still give you satisfaction of watching Netflix, but also free up 1 hour of your time each day. So set an intention of watching one episode of your favorite series as against watching 2 or more. Or you can be someone like me who watches movies in 2 parts. So I watch half of the movie at one given night and then half of the movie at another given night. Or maybe just simply limit movie watching to weekends only. Now whatever you do, the idea is to make reasonable reduction in time wasters such that whatever action you're taking is sustainable for long term and doesn't feel like a big sacrifice. You can certainly do more control and more reduction on time wasters as time passes by. And the result is that you still get satisfaction of unwinding with a good movie, yet you also create valuable time that you can use for other valuable activities. Now the second tip is my favorite tip, which is make use of your dead time. Now there are 2 kinds of dead time which you need to list down and identify that happen or that occur in your daily life. One is an active dead time and one is a non-active dead time. Active dead time is when you're physically engaged, let's say when you're driving. Now this is a time when you're commuting from, let's say, your home to your work and you're physically engaged but you're mentally not engaged, and hence this is active dead time. And then there is non-active dead time, which for instance in my case is when I take my kids for their physical activities and I have to wait outside or wait in the waiting area for them to perform their physical activities, which usually takes 1 hour, and I'm just sitting there not active physically and not active mentally either. Now with active dead time, I do the following 2 things. One is listen to audiobooks and podcasts, and second is to have phone calls with friends and families. So when I'm commuting to work or when I'm running errands for the house, let's say going for a grocery, either I'm listening to an audiobook or a nice podcast, or I have a call arranged with a friend and family. Hence, every time I have to call up a friend or a friend wants to talk to me, I set up my call with them during my commute hours. Now with non-active dead time, this is when I'm waiting in a waiting area while my kids are doing their activity, or let's say when you're at the doctor's and you're in the waiting area, what I usually do is I take my laptop with me and I edit my YouTube videos. Of course, you can use that time to respond to emails or read a book or write a blog or whatever that interests you or whatever that you want to do and achieve. In other instances, I make use of that time to write a blog, to respond to emails, or even just to use that time to plan my day or week or months ahead. Other examples of active dead time are when I'm exercising. I prefer listening to a podcast or an audiobook. Or when I'm doing grocery. Again, this is a grocery run where I know what I have to get. I have a list. So what I do is I have my headphones on and I listen to a podcast or my favorite audiobook. The next tip is to know yourself. The idea here is to know yourself and to know when you're most productive. Find the time of the day when you're most productive and which works best for you. For some people, they are morning person, and for some people, they are evening person. Schedule most important and difficult and challenging activities during your most productive hours. This is when you will have most attention span and you have the most willpower available, and hence you will be able to achieve more results. Knowing how your body works is the best way to gain more time, as you can end up scheduling things when you work the best. So when we are most awake, we get done with things more quickly and we do a better quality of work. So how I make use of this is, given I'm a morning person, I make sure that I do my workout in the morning. This is the first thing I get done in the morning because I have the strongest willpower and I don't have to talk myself into should I work out or do I feel like working out. I have the most willpower when I wake up early in the morning, and hence I hit the gym and get done with it. Second is I avoid working late at night. Now even if there is a deadline and I wasn't able to complete a particular task and now I'm late in the day, I will still close my laptop. Rather, I wake up early in the morning than trying to stretch and push myself to work on it late at night when I'm not my full capacity, because I've realized that if there is something that I'm trying to solve in the later hours of the day, it takes me far more time to solve that problem or challenge as against getting up early in the morning and then looking at the challenge and then solving it, which will take sooner and quicker. And as I said, you will do a better and quality job. So previously, especially in my university days, I used to fear that if I don't study at night, I won't be able to do a good job in the exam next morning. Rather, what I started doing and realizing was that studying late at night was just taking more hours and more time from me. So I would rather close my books, go to sleep, and then wake up early in the morning and then revise and work on the subject before going and attempting the exam. Now, the next tip is to delegate and automate. One of the best ways to create time is for you to see what are the things that you are doing during your day which can be easily done by someone else. And if it's possible, let them do it. Delegation works brilliantly for things like cleaning, ironing, childcare, and many other similar things. For instance, can you pick your kids and your neighbor's kids together for 2 days a week from an activity where they go together and let the other days of the week be done by your neighbor? Can you hire a cleaner to do some of the household jobs like cleaning and washing and all that? I've simply freed up a lot of time during the week and have invested that time into valuable activities by getting some of the household chores done by someone else, and it just works well. Automation is also one of the great ways to claw back some of the time. One example that I share and make use of is online grocery. Previously, I would be just going aisle to aisle in a grocery store and doing grocery, which would take a lot of time. Now I simply do grocery online and do a curbside pickup, which saves me all the time that I would be spending in the grocery store. Also, I do one big grocery run per month instead of doing multiple rounds during the week. Next tip is to follow 80-20 rule, which says that you can do quickly a near perfect job instead of trying to do the job up to perfection and hence wasting a lot of time which is not really required. There is very little in this world that has to be done to perfection. So every time you start a task, ask yourself whether this has to be done up to perfection or an 80% good enough work will do the job. I know from bitter experience that if you try to start a job with an intention of doing it up to perfection, then either you don't start out of fear of failing, or you spend so much time and get stressed out that you're never able to finish that particular task at all. And at times when I do end up completing the task, I have wasted a lot of resources in terms of time, energy, and effort on something that could have been done in a very optimal and smarter way. Aim for 80% perfection and then see if that is enough, and you will be surprised with the results. Now, I apply this 80-20 rule for my YouTube videos. Since I do the editing myself, I stay away from any flashy animations or flashy editing, which would consume a lot of effort and time on my part. I just keep it very simple. I only edit the silent parts and boom, my video is ready, which is good enough. It is not perfect, but it is good enough for viewers to see, understand my message, and like enough to continue to come back to my channel. Also, I try to keep the length of the video short, which is under 6 minutes, so I can easily manage to release one video per week versus trying to make it a task which is bigger than what I can easily manage. Now, the last step is to consolidate. There are many things that we do which are scattered over the day and the week that we can easily consolidate and save a lot of time. Now, one good example is instead of running an errand every day a week, what I try to do is I consolidate most of the errands which can be consolidated on one particular day of the week and then just run them all together. This way, I just not save time, but I also save a lot of gas. Another idea is to do things into batches. One example is doing emails. Instead of doing emails throughout the day, you can allot one particular time in the day where you can batch process all your emails together instead of checking and reading all throughout the day. Same things with meetings, paperwork, or anything that you do on a regular basis. Now, I get asked a lot that how do I manage so many activities during the week? For instance, I have a family with 2 kids, I have a day job, I do this YouTube channel where I release a video every week, I have a blog, I'm learning guitar, I'm learning how to play piano, I'm also learning how to code, and there are other multiple activities that I continue to do, and my friends come and ask me how do I manage all of this with the limited time that I have. And hence my answer is I make use of these tips in order to create more time during my day so I can do all these activities that really are valuable to me. So in essence, what I do is I carve out time from activities which are not value creating or not valuable to me, and hence invest all that time into activities which are more valuable and more value creating for me. Hopefully these tips were helpful for you as they are helpful for me in order to carve out time for things which are really valuable to me. Thank you for watching.